Problem finding and problem solving are two complex things, but let me convince you otherwise, as one is more preemptive and the other is more natural, as we were taught to do. So, problem finding is the art of thinking outside of your core responsibilities. It's about what your business needs. And problem solving, on the other hand, is what you do when you're faced with a problem. On the latter, people get afraid or uncomfortable, and it wish it would go away. They feel that they have to come up with an answer, and it has to be the right answer. And they look for someone to blame at the end, whilst the first, it's usually part of a design thinking methodology. But they both address the same issues, which for organizations are mostly around how to come up with solutions to their problems, due to poorly designed systems, software, and even sometimes teams. So, long story short, on every Securities and Exchange Commission mutual funds ad, there's this disclaimer that says past performance is no guarantee of future results. And the same applies to whatever you do in your company and business, especially when addressing problems. If you think you were good at addressing them in the past, then in the future you might not be that good again. Nothing guarantees you of that. And that's the major difference between problem solving and problem finding. If you take for granted that you can solve future problems, then you're already in a pickle. Like the Securities and Exchange Commission reminder, past performance has little, if anything, to do with future problems. And all of those past solutions can too be manipulated. But there are two reasons why we tend to see a problem as a problem. And it has to be solved, and we are not sure how to find the best solution. And there will be probably conflict about what the best solution is. And most of us tend to be conflict averse. We don't feel comfortable dealing with conflict. And we tend to have the feeling that something bad is going to happen. And the goal of a good problem-solving process is to make us and our organization more conflict-friendly and conflict-competent. Because people are born problem solvers. The biggest challenge is to overcome the tendency to immediately come up with a solution. Let me say that again. The most common mistake in problem solving is trying to find a solution right away. So one theory has expanded on Piaget work by suggesting a possible fifth adult period of development, such as problem finding, in which problem finding comes before problem solving, and it is the process of identifying problems that are worth solving in the first place. So on that note, whereas Agile is an approach to problem solving, problem finding is part of a design thinking methodology, in which this methodology calls for a high degree of empathy and understanding of end users, and an iterative process of developing new ideas, challenging assumptions, and redefining problems, with the goal of identifying alternative solutions that might not necessarily be apparent. And for that you need 5 key elements. You need to empathize, which is to understand people, their behaviors and motivations. You need to define, which is to create an actionable problem statement to define the right challenge to address. And you need to ideate, which is to leverage techniques such as brainstorming, mind mapping, and even sketching. You need to prototype, which is to bring the ideas to life by showing and not telling. And finally, test, which is learn from users' experience, iterate, and repeat the process. What I hope you can understand by now is that you can use both problem thinking and problem solving in a coherent methodology as design thinking, and addressing both issues at once, developing solutions from the start, using problem finding to understand the problem, and agile methodologies to do problem solving by building the solution.